Visible.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Fantastic, Dan. Good to see you.
Yeah, full disclosure, this morning I woke up feeling, let's see, unencouraged, unmotivated, and unhealthy.
Cool.
Let's see, I got it. And no, and I told Steve, hey, maybe we don't do it this morning. And then Steve's like, nope, we're gonna do it this morning. And then, and that's the main reason I created Mazes and Muses and asked Steve to be a part of it, because Steve is a muse and for me, and he said, nope, we're gonna get it, we're gonna do it, we're gonna have an extra cup of coffee, Dan. Let's get this rolling. And I'm so glad that he did, because he's gonna talk me through this morning. I may have a little bit of imposter syndrome today. But yeah, so this is, let's express how much of a community the creative element is. And, we're not in this by ourselves. And so, I appreciate Steve for, helping me with this, not only this stream and the podcast, but Sunday mornings like this, when I'm like, oh, nothing's going right, and he's gonna walk me off the edge right now, talk me off the edge.
Nothing. Well, I don't know. I was looking at your campaign, which is cooking along, and it seems to be going great. It seems like, again, there's going to be that U shape where it's big at the beginning, the doldrums in the middle, and big at the end. I mean, and I think you're definitely going to succeed. So. I don't know. The Kickstarters are weird. I mean, if the doldrums are from the Kickstarter, or if the feelings this morning are about the Kickstarter, it's like I get that part of it, because it's like you think, I want to launch this thing and maybe it'll make me $1 billion. It's got that scratcher quality about it. Like
yeah. That never really was my goal with this, of course.
No, but it's I could be discovered. Matt Mercer could retweet this for some reason.
And exactly, and I'm using it as a tool to help promote Catacombs and Comedians first and foremost. And yeah, but when I look at that now, again, I'm not complaining here. Everything's going, is it going as planned? Is it going as dreamt? Let me put it that way. Is it going as dreamt? No. I'm what dollar or $118 away from hitting my goal in 2 or so weeks to do it. It'll happen. I'm not worried about it. Full disclosure, though, two of my backers on this project backed relatively healthy sums of money, so that the 391 may be a little misleading compared to the 25 backers. But no, again, hopefully, doing stuff like this with Steve, getting the word out. I'm not worried. It will happen. The book is made regardless, so I don't have to worry about that. But a lot of things are playing. Steve, let me be honest with you here. I've got ticket numbers for the next show aren't as great as the first 2 shows in Nashville have been. So I'm like, oh, I'm working on getting another group of comics together to do the streamed version of Catacombs and Comedians. So I'm going through the process of finding the right comics for that. Today I was going to meet with my Nashville group, since I'm based here in Nashville, with my Nashville comedians. And we were just going to, level up their characters to 4, get ready, pep talk. The wife was making lasagna dinner for everyone. Everyone thing was going to, play a couple practice combat sessions. And then, one of them got a show tonight, has to leave early. One of them's late, on the road right now and won't make it back in time. One being comics, never confirmed in the first place. So,
right.
And that's just part of the game. And so it's, I'm not depressed by any means. I'm not upset about it by any means. I'm just feeling a case of that, that creative blah,
Yeah, that Sisyphean, it's okay. We got to push this up the hill a little further. It's always uphill.
Exactly.
Always uphill.
Exactly. I'm waiting for it. And it's going to be fine. I've got a lot of work I got to do today on all the campaigns, the Kickstarter. I'm going to turn this stream into the YouTube, because it's also, it's videos available on YouTube. I'm going to have the podcast version of this will be out probably tonight. I've got a number of campaigns I'm D&D, different D&D campaigns I'm working on, but Catacombs and Comedians. I got another one that, like I said, I don't know. Did I tell you that I'm going to do a one-on-one campaign with Steve Musgrave, who's doing all the monster designs?
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, we just figured, since it's so hard to get a group together, why not just Steve and I go one-on-one, and he'll do art for it, and I'll, of course, do the writing for it, and the final goal is, besides just having fun and get to play with Steve, and for us to grow closer as a creative partnership, is to create more content, more D&D content.
That's
so
great.
We're coming up with this kind of weird Dungeons and Dragons setting that's going to have a lot of Old West flair to it.
Nice.
They won't have there won't be gunslingers, but there may be spell slingers.
What inspired the Old West flavor?
I just wanted to mix up genres.
Nice.
There's tons of Dungeons and Dragons, and there've been D&D Western type things, and I kind of threw. I'm
a Boot Hill enthusiast.
I love Boot Hill. In fact,
Do you really?
I got on eBay going, maybe I should see if someone has a good Boot Hill old first or second edition to buy. But I think I'm just going to go on drive through and order the reprint, print on demand, because it's available there. So it's going to be totally Boot Hill. I mean, I loved my Boot Hill.
No, but I mean, Boot Hill never had magic, right? Boot Hill never had like the...
Right.
I think this is wonderful. I mean, I look at that's what Griffin Saddlebag. I mean, the guy basically just goes online, and I think he streams, maybe, I'm going to create a magic item every day, and then once a year, 365 magic items. So if you two are doing that and you turn that into something, that's great.
Yeah, I follow his Twitter account, where I look at his items, and no, so I kind of asked Steve, I go, if we were to mix it up with another genre, what, and Old West was the first thing that popped in his mind, because he's not a sci-fi guy, and which explains why our sci-fi project never got off the took flight. Hey, thanks for the follow. And I came up with a great title for it, so I don't know if I'm ready to reveal the title, but it's a pun, of course, because I love my pun, and D&D is great for puns. So we will be Weaver Wolf. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Hope Steve inspires you as much as he inspires me. So I've got that going. So yeah, I'm not giving up D&D. I'm not giving up Catacombs and Comedians. I'm not giving up chatting with you every Sunday morning. It's just this morning I was like,
well, I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad you're here. Being creative's being a drag this morning. So
yeah, I get that sometimes. I mean, to me it's silly, because there's part of it is that I thought we were on a streak. I mean, I think it's only like 4 in a row, but still, it's like a friend of as soon as the pandemic happened, I got back into 5e. I hadn't played D&D in a few years, decades, and it was online gaming in the interim between like 2nd edition and 5th. It was like just tons of online gaming. But pandemic starts, we all got Zoom cameras. My friend says, let's play D&D, and my old college group. And all right, so let's do that. And we basically hit our mark. We played every Thursday night for a year and a half. And I think the thing was, but once we finally broke that, suddenly it became, we could just take it off if we feel like it. Or it's not that, also during the pandemic, there were less interruptions because nobody had to go anywhere. That definitely gave us an edge to keep things from getting distracted. But I like the idea of us doing this, even if it's a short episode, even if we don't have an interview. But I also think there are people who are going to wake up on Sunday morning and they want to have coffee with us. No, I would hope so. So again, thanks for getting me out of bed and get this done. So fantastic. Let's talk. You're launching your Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that. What are you gonna tell us about it? What are you gonna do to get us excited for it, other than what you've been doing? So I'm creating an Intoximancy guide, which Intoximancer is a subclass of wizard for 5e. It's based on a character from my webcomic. I'm a web cartoonist, and the idea is to do this Kickstarter create the subclass sort of based on the character from the webcomic, who's a drunken wizard. And it was going to be a stretch goal for my last Kickstarter, and it didn't happen because we just never hit that. We never unlocked it. And then I heard about Zine Quest happening. And I'm like, oh, This is perfect. It's a small project. It's a 24 pages of material, and let's see what I can do. And I want to start it late in the month, give myself more time to prep and more time to see what the other Zine Quest projects are, figure stuff out. I didn't expect there to be that resource that we saw on Twitter, which was someone's got a spreadsheet breaking down all the various Zine Quest things. And for folks who don't know, Zine Quest is a month of simple, I'd say, streamlined, small role-playing game projects.
Okay, hold on. Pump the brakes there.
Uh-oh.
I'm looking at your preview that you sent me, and yours is not simple. It's beautiful.
Well, but the concept is that
Okay.
well, how about this? The concept is that it was like meant to be like D&D was originally, where it was a pamphlet, a small self-created thing. Now mine's self-created too. Everything in this project is written by me, it's drawn by me. I think that's where it keeps the core of its promise. I think not that you can't have a small team, but basically it is a small team. But hopefully it's going to look like it's bigger than that. Hopefully it's
Yeah,
going to look.
no,
Like
I wasn't saying you're not following the rules by being simple. It's just nothing that Steve does is plain. Let me put it that way. It's gorgeous.
Well, because I felt the pressure. I look at 5E's beautiful artwork. I look at, all the great role-playing game things out there. I look at Oddity Offprint. I look at Humblewood and Griffin Saddlebag, and just gorgeous artwork. And I felt, let me try to do something like that. Because I'm a cartoonist, but I'm not a painter. So, but I'm a bit of a 3D modeler, and so I'm using 3D models as my models for painting. And I don't know, I'm really happy with how it's coming together, but I threw the whole thing out. Basically, I scrapped the plan. The book is still the same. The guts of the thing are still the same, but the pricing and the goals and all that stuff changed because of this document we saw on Twitter. That spreadsheet where my price has gone up a little bit, mostly also because I spent like so many hours producing just the artwork I've done so far. I thought having it for $1 was just silly.
Yeah.
And I was cautioned by people saying if you make it $1, people will think it's not quality, which I don't know if I agree with, but
no, and I think later you can try your dollar experiment on something else.
right.
You know, in fact, years ago I backed a Kickstarter that said $1 role playing game. You know, and that was it. And a bunch of people went in on it, and the guy's never produced the final project yet.
Oh no.
But it has grown immensely. It's going to be like a 400, 500 page book when it comes out with beautiful artwork and all this stuff. And so it's almost worth the $1 that I paid just to get this guy's email updates every month or so about, okay, the book's not done yet, but here's what I've done so far. And he is, these updates are very much with a grain of salt and a lot of humbleness to him about, look, I didn't get it done, but he's turning into a huge project. And will it ever get done? I don't know. But again, I don't, I always remember that Kickstarter is not a store, and you're going to gamble on everything.
Are there a lot of small, let me see. Are there a lot of projects that you've backed that you haven't received their rewards?
Over the years?
Yeah.
Probably a handful, but I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever, and I haven't, and I've had some that I've done that I didn't, because whatever happened, I wasn't able to fulfill to the fullest potential that I originally had hoped for, or there's great delays to it. But, it happens, and I don't begrudge. There's always, obviously in the early days there were these great scam artists that took the money and run with Kickstarter, but
sure.
Especially
in the world of comics, we've seen a lot of those.
Yeah, it happens, and things just fall through. I mean, creators can have the best intentions, and something just comes up, and we are we are a fragile species. And, if I see tweets or Facebook posts saying, "Hey, I got so and so from this Kickstarter," and they're showing off what they got, and I never received it.
Right.
Then it's just a simple, it got lost in the mail or got overlooked, and then I might say, "Hey, I never got mine." They're like, "Okay, no problem. Here you go."
Right.
But if the creator just disappears for some reason, and I never pledged my rent money or grocery money on it, so I'm like, okay, oh well.
Yeah, there was one I backed the other day. It was a Zine Quest one. It was for £1 was the price, and it was like this looks like for PDF, and I'm like, I'm gonna give it a shot because it was £1. Again, that was my notion of like if I made this $1, people would take a chance. And then at some point, I put so much art into it. I thought $5. It's just gonna be $5. And also, I looked at that spreadsheet. The thing I learned was, and I wish I probably, who knows, maybe I'll tweak it before it goes live on Wednesday. But the idea is that for the digital version, the average price was $8, and for the physical version, the average price was like $16 or something like that. And so that made me think I'd still like to come in below the average, but I didn't break down, and the chart didn't break down what the average price was for a 5e supplement, because I got to think that certain things like a standalone game could have a higher price tag than a supplement could. I think a supplement being that it's just, I don't know, a side dish,
Yeah,
and not the main course.
Right, yeah, right, an a la carte sort of thing. Yeah, I got my digital at $3. Just
Right.
because
That's a good price.
I figured it's 5 monsters, 6 if we hit. I ended up adding a stretch goal in there, so 5 monsters, it was 60 cents a monster. If the stretch goal hits, it's 50 cents a monster. And it's going to be printed. The PDF version or the digital version is going to be done in such a way where all the information's on one page. So if you're like, I want to run the foul bore monster in my game tonight, just print that page and it's right there. Boom.
Right.
The physical zine itself is going to have a more, the zine type thing where, pages and, you have to turn the page and all that sort of stuff, and a little more formatting as far as to fit the zine format, physical zine format. But yeah, and I think I'm pricing that at, $9.
Nice.
$7 if you jump on early.
So in the next 2 weeks, do you have any plans to get more people, get more eyeballs on the project? Is that, I know you've got the Catacombs and Comedian show coming up, but were you thinking about sharing any of the stat blocks on Reddit or anything like that? Or
I might, I was thinking maybe, because I didn't want to really throw up. I didn't really want to throw out, like the finished product, because then I'm kind of like, well, if I'm giving too many sneak previews, who's going to get it?
Sure.
I want some mystery. So I was free with all the art. All the art's up there for people to look at. So, but I might do sort of what a finished page will look like and show that off. And then I'm going to do an update, like with links to the various podcast episodes that feature these monsters, and say, hey, you can listen to the podcast. Again, this is to get more, eyes and ears on Catacombs and Comedians. This is where we use the foul bore. This is how it worked in my game. And because I do have one little video on the Kickstarter page where we're on stage.
Sure.
And I'm describing what the foul bore is, but I don't have any gameplay showing. So.
Right.
So yeah, and when you launch on Wednesday, I'm putting out an update just saying, hey, go get Steve Conley's book, but here's a little something more for from Oddity's Offprint. So exactly what I'm doing, I don't know. I don't want to do any more. I don't want to do any more stretch goals, because again, my goal was to keep this simple.
Right.
I didn't want a bunch of, because there's not other products like you have the book, you have the miniatures, you have these other things you can tie in to it, right, to extend the stretch goal. this is the first Catacombs and Comedians or Zero Level Media product on Kickstarter. So, and there's no physical products to tie into it to bust it up. I've got early bird special. I've got a sticker. You get a sticker of the Foul Boar.
And when you do the next one in February, presuming that they schedule for February, then you'll have book 1.
Yes,
and then,
exactly. Oddity and Offprint Volume 2 will have the newer monsters that we've used, and I've got plenty of monsters I have that the artwork's already done for, like my Octocorn, the unicorn with 8 horns that looks like a spike.
That's great.
Punk rock spike hairdo. We've got this nasty Steve Musgrave, who does the art for it, he's kind of a cartoony kink artist, and he does some great stuff that way. So I said, well, let's play into that. So we're going to have an evil mermaid that he's already done Nightmare for, or I call it the Mare Knight instead of Nightmare, Mare Knight, something like that. And so it's an evil looking, saucy looking, mermaid. Nice. We got this weird. I said, look, we need to come up with something that's just like our version of the Mind Flayer. And so we came up with, I said, just do it. And I gave him something, and he gave me something totally different, but I love it. And imagine a thought, was it the Intellect Devourer and a succubus together.
Okay.
But it's got a big mouth like a lamprey, which is just huge lips and teeth all over the place. And so it's definitely a Butterface type of character. Oh, the body looks great, Butterface.
So these are the kind of things will you find a way to work these into the game when you're doing your Old West, or they're
these are Catacomb and Comedian monsters.
Okay.
Yeah. The Old West, I'm sure we're going to come up with a whole new fun group of Western inspired Dungeons and Dragons tropes. So
that's great.
Yeah.
One of the things that hit me this week was, so last week I was working on the cover for the book. I had a placeholder graphic. Basically, I wanted approval for the project on Kickstarter like weeks ago, so I could start saying, hey, sign up for a reminder. So I had to put together something enough to be able to say, hey, for Kickstarter to give it the thumbs up. So I put together a bare bones, not quite ready for prime time thing, and they gave me a thumbs up. I think it's because I've had a few successful Kickstarters in the past. I think I'm fast tracked or something like that. So, but once that was done, then I had to redo everything. But I knew I had to have a nice cover. And so I was working on this on the stream last week. I stream on Twitch here. And it's at the twitch.tv/Steve Conley. And the cover was coming together really well. But I couldn't decide which one of two covers. And I'm torn. And I put it up to I let people on Discord vote on it, Twitter, Facebook. And pretty much everyone's just like me, torn right down the middle. And that helped me decide that I was going to do a hardcover. The print-on-demand hardcover, it's because it ends up being pricey because print-on-demand hardcover is challenging. But I'll use the red background cover for the zine version.
Oh, you're going to make me buy the hardcover for I voted blue.
It just, the hardcover, the blue actually just feels fancier,
regal, royal.
Mature. What's that?
Regal, royal.
Yeah, it feels like, and also I just like, for me, a TTRPG book has to. I mean, I know it's Zine Quest, but a TTRPG book has to stand up on a shelf, and you can sandwich a zine in between other books. But zines kind of want to lay flat, or you put in a bag, or I don't know. I'm a comic book guy, so I think of floppies as being, I don't know. But the idea of a hardcover book, I don't know. I just thought, this will let me do both covers. It will give me something that feels nice. And I don't know. It just felt like it deserved it. It felt like this is pretty enough to deserve a fancier treatment.
Hello,
I didn't see you there.
So here's my plan. If I get 6 Oddity Offprints, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, how about a slipcase?
I would go with I bind them into a thicker book.
Bind a thicker book?
Because the slipcases are very expensive to produce.
Yeah, again, I don't do research. I rely on you to tell me what to do.
I have found that slipcases are often plus you'll do number 7, and that's going to be sitting off the side. You bought Star Trek you're a Star Trek fan. You probably got the first three or the first four Star Trek VHSs together, and then the fifth one came out, and you had to get and then the sixth one came out, and you had to get that box set. No, it's
Yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
a box set seems to be something you wait for when you have a bunch of hardcovers.
Like Spelljammer this Tuesday.
Is that when it comes out?
Yeah, I think
No
so.
one.
No, but okay. So the hardcover zine. I don't know if anybody else is doing a hardcover version of the zine.
There's one that's in Zine Quest. It seems like it is, but with print on demand, it's like, why not?
Yeah.
You know. Oh, and I didn't tell you on Tuesday I DM'd for the first time in like 2 decades.
Oh, let's hear about this. Let's hear about your
So
game.
I've got my regular D&D group. One person couldn't make it. They've got family in from out of town. The schedule was all blown up, but we didn't want to take a week off. And every once in a while, when we take a week off, it's usually one person who can't make it. The other three of us get together and have lobby characters like levels 2 and 3 and stuff. And usually it's a way to vent because the other arc we're at level 13. It's very serious, and now the lobbies ones were a little goofier. So we take turns GMing as well. So our character slips into the group as we're running one character, and then we manage the rest of it. So in a collaborative world, it's kind of slapdash, but a lot of fun. And it was my turn, and I sweat these things. You look at the Kickstarter, I sweat these things. And so what I got to do was I got to actually run a combat in a tavern. Way too many NPCs, way too many monsters. It was terrible because we were running it all through a Foundry TTRPG online thing, and I got to tell the two players were in the combat tracker. It was going to be their turn, but we had to slog through everybody else to get to their turn again. I thought, I'm a terrible host. So lesson learned. I could just have the NPCs, just hand wave those away and focus on the regular players. But I got to test four of the creatures from the Intoximancy book. They're all Flagon born. Since Intoximancy is all about this drunken wizard, everything's a little bit alcohol themed, and there's a hobgoblet.
I love it.
Which is very tiny. It's got two little very tiny daggers, and it's the kind of mouthy crazy one. There's a tankard, which is just a slow moving thing, but it really hits hard. But it's got a slow recharge, like at a 5 or 6, it gets its gun back. But if it doesn't, it's got nothing else to do, so it just kind of stays hidden. It's very much like Tank Attack. Was that what it's called on the Atari a billion years ago?
Right.
So it pulls out from the shadows, takes a shot, hits like a tank, and then goes back for additional AC benefits of being hidden. So a really fun, weird thing. You have to close with it because otherwise, if its cannon warms up, it fires and hits you really hard. So I don't know. It really worked out well. I got to fine tune the monsters. It was everybody seemed to have a blast. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't DM'd in ages, and it felt really good. But also I had tons of notes for reduce the hit points here, lower the AC here, and all of it was based on. So when creating the monster, what I did was I followed the guide of you find something in the SRD and tweak.
Yeah.
So my template was kind of the flying sword.
Animated sword?
Animated
flying sword? Animated armor flying sword, I think.
Flying sword, yes. So I kind of based it on the flying sword, which is really OP for its low CR. It's like a quarter CR, but it's 17 armor class, 17 hit points, like a 50 flying speed. It's a nightmare for a quarter. God forbid you fight with it outside. Yeah, it was very crazy. Oh, I got one little cat thing. Can you vamp for a moment? I have to close one door.
Sure, no problem. So yeah, hi guys.
How'd the vamping go?
Oh, I thought you said vape, and I looked for my pen. And
do you vape?
No, well, I'm California sober.
Okay,
does that make sense?
I understand. Oh, and then I do have rules. I do have rules in the thing for people who, for wizards who are more inclined for pipeweed than ale. There's a pipeweed variant page, and it shows us I assume Gandalf. I want to assume Gandalf is an Intoximancer.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I'm gonna retcon him into this subclass.
Yeah, no, because when I was looking at your preview, I saw because you hadn't mentioned the pipeweed element to me before, and I'm like, ooh, I got to check that out. Because I have long wanted to do a D&D supplement. I mean, and there are some out there, rules for cannabis use or whatever.
Sure.
But I wanted to do one that sort of just took that kind of fun aspect, and emphasize that we call it high fantasy.
That's great. That's great.
And so I think I got a logo design where it's like a dragon head, but instead of horns, it kind of goes off into the cannabis leaf type of thing.
Right.
So that's, again, I've got two things I'm working on right in front of me, and then a stovetop of back burners
Sure.
that go on forever and ever.
Yeah, there's a very trippy looking zine in Zine Quest going on right now. I forget the name of it. I'm terribly sorry. I would love to throw more light on some of these things, but it has there are two little things. There's this one. It has like the goal, of course, was $420.
Okay.
Very simple stuff. Very simple stuff. But there's another Kickstarter I saw that's doing very well. It is a collection of 5 zines, and the person, you get all of them for $15, and you get the 5 printed versions for $45, and the person is doing very, very well. They had one single stretch goal, which I loved, if at 5K, which they've hit now, and it was, if we hit 5K, I'll do another one of these in February.
Okay.
That's very basic, very simple. Like, give me the vote of confidence that tells me I'll do another one of these in February.
Hell, if I hit my goal, I'll do another one in February.
See, but that's totally the. Well, I would even say if someone's watching this and they've got a Kickstarter cooking, even if they don't hit it, they should do it again in February.
Yeah.
Because then you can just retool it, and again, everyone who's backed it this time around will come back.
No, it's because it's Kickstarters are tough, and creating one is an animal all in itself, and then distributing, getting it out after it's all done as an animal itself. But just the promotion of it is so it's exhausting. And between promoting my live shows, even getting the word out that you and I are sitting here chatting and want to share our conversations with people, it could be daunting.
Well, I love this Twitch channel's already got 27 followers.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, even though our follower goal says we only are at 18, but I think we have more than that. So on the little bar on the bottom. But yeah, we're doing fine. And again, we're going to be doing, or there will be Catacombs and Comedian stream shows here on this channel later down the road. So that'll help, build an audience there. And, and I do my own little, occasionally when I'm working on my behind the scenes stuff on this channel, I will live tweet while I'm working on my D&D stuff. And I call that the Crunch and Fluff, or Fluff and Crunch.
Nice.
Something like that. Fluff and Crunch.
LJ, I see here. It's rather early for a Sunday. I agree.
It's 11 when we start there. That's almost lunchtime.
That's barely breakfast for me. When I was redesigning everything on this Kickstarter, again, mine launches on Wednesday. It was meant to be really simple. Something I'm thinking about. When I do my comic book Kickstarters, they start with, "Hi, I'm Steve Conley. I'm a cartoonist. Here's my project." I felt like TTRPGs go the other way around. What's the value proposition? What's contained in here? Who you are does not matter unless you are famous or, you've got awards, things like that. So basically who you are gets buried. And so when I was really thinking about flipping the script on that. So I start off with, boom, this is what you get. Here's a picture of a mock-up of the thing. Here's fanned out pages of what the interior will look like. Again, just trying to say this is going to be something that will hopefully be, it has to look good because I know it'll become an argument. I want this to be a good prop. So when you try to convince your dungeon master, I want to play an Intoximancer, when you hand this to them, they go, okay, that looks legit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of helping them make the case. And also, those fanned out pages are very small. You can see them, you can see the artwork, but they're very small, so you don't get hung up on the text, which isn't the rules, which aren't final yet. Like all that stuff has to get play tested and proofread, and so I show you the pages, but hopefully the text is small enough where you don't go, hey, what is that?
Psst, play testing. Who needs play
Is
testing?
this concentration or not? Is that spelled concentration or not, Conley?
And I do love the fact that you have a bonus uh, reward for all backers by sharing the PDF of the Middle Age Volume 1.
Right. So everyone who backs it will get the book. And part of my thinking was initially I was going to have my goal at 500 and make the first stretch goal everybody gets my book, but I felt like that was mixing messages. Like, wait a minute, I want all the stretch goals to be about the thing, about the Kickstarter campaign, and not about these other candy things that I'm adding on, because again, I'm assuming people don't know who I am, and again, focusing exclusively on, the value proposition, and hey, if you want my money, what am I getting for it? So I don't know, I feel really good. I made subtle color choices. Yeah, I'm fingers crossed that this works. We'll see. But I am going to email Kickstarter on Monday using that support thing, saying, hey, this launches on Wednesday. Can you make sure that I'm tagged for the Zine Quest? Because I know that they overlooked a few projects, including yours.
Yeah. And I think once I got tagged, as soon as I got tagged, I got a few more backers, so I think that definitely does help.
Yeah. I mean, the big promo on the front page, Zine Quest, and then click for more. If you're not in that list of, there's only 120 projects. Right. And at the time you were doing it, there was like 90.
Maybe even. I think we were more like 54 or 56 when I.
Yeah, and certainly within the first few days, and that would have given you a lot more eyeballs.
And there was some, and again, this is building an audience. This is, don't worry, folks, if you don't back my Zine Quest, I will pay. I still have a roof to sleep under. Right. Everything's fine. Right. I'm not going to jump off that ledge as long as Steve's here to talk me off it.
You can't, not until after the broadcast. But I just gotta hold you on. But that's why we do teasers for next week, to keep everyone around.
Exactly.
Well, I'm excited to see this thing start. I'm not gonna push it the way I pushed my last one. The last one was very much, the campaign was all about the minis that were related to my webcomic, and my webcomic is that's the reason I'm on Earth. This is a bonus thing that my primary way of promoting this is going to be, Steve, are you offering the pony as a sticker or t-shirt? As a sticker. As a matter of fact, there was a sticker, LJ, in the My Prancing Pony will be a sticker that we unlock if we get there. I think we'll get there. I'm going to be optimistic. I'll be cautiously optimistic. It's up there. It's like 5K. Yeah. I thought about having a 10K stretch goal, which would basically just be insanity. Like, there's no way we're doing this. How dare I even put this on the page? But the idea is to promote it primarily to Reddit, I think. I think I've got right now 8 magic items. Wait, no. I've got 8 spells and cantrips. I've got 6 magic items in the book to start. So I can put a few of those up during the life of this campaign, which will only run 3 weeks. And I'm hoping that drives some people from Reddit, because I think if the artwork's cute, and I'm thinking this is already way bigger than I thought it was going to be, LJ. Like, I thought for sure this was going to be like a $500 goal with a $1 item. Like, I thought I thought this was going to be, but I throw a damn cover.
Steve, go big or go home, Conley.
If it fails, if I don't hit my goal, you'll see me again in February. I'll just dust this thing
now
off.
Reddit, I cannot figure out Reddit. How do you promote this on Reddit? You show them let's say you show them a magic item, and you're asking, does this magic item work? And then at the very bottom, by the way, this is in this Kickstarter.
Even better. That would be the case if you were showing a single image, like if you're uploading one page. But if you upload multiple images to a Reddit post, again, don't spam the folders. They'll just click delete and get rid of you. But if you're doing something like truly a stat block, you show the name of the item, a nice picture of it if you've got one, or a spell if you've got a picture of anything that's associated with that spell. Usually it's something cool like a wizard with hands, and who knows. You might get some stock art from Adobe. But the name of the spell, the basics of the spell, maybe a picture on as one image. A second image, the exact same size, I'd stick with squares, is like the rules of the spell, like range, casting time, verbal, semantic, material components, that sort of thing. And then the rules of the spell. And then the last image is, hey, my Kickstarter's running until this day if you want to check it out. When you upload it as a slide, as basically as slides, each one of those slides can have a little link associated at the bottom. And that link could be to your Kickstarter all 3 times. It could be to your Patreon. And if you check out Homebrew on D&D, and any of the D&D Reddits, not the main D&D channel, which I have not ever posted that main D&D channel, a new thread that hasn't gotten deleted within a minute.
Right.
I posted something there, I got 5 upvotes, and it was deleted. And so even if the audience likes it, the moderators there are draconian. They have they've got their own thing. I think they smell self-promoters pretty quickly, and I think they presume I think their presumption is everything that's posted is spam first, quality second, and if you don't impress them right away, they delete it. So I've never impressed them. But the homebrew section, I'm hoping that I can maybe get some, a couple of people to find out about it.
Yeah, Reddit is just every time I try to, and yes, I'm promoting, but I'm not. Hey, look at this! I try to do it in such an interesting way that this may be of interest to someone else.
Right.
And because I see very similar posts like what I do, but they seem to stick. Mine doesn't. I don't know. And so
in some cases too, it might be, I think what I might try to do is if it doesn't work, I might just appeal to a moderator, because often I have seen that if you at least talk to the moderator and say, hey, this is the thing I'd like to post, you can get basically an allowance from them. It's been shared, and then that gets you in. Like, you're basically, is it okay if I post this and let them review it? And then they can review it and say, okay, is this legit? Is this not? And give you a pass.
Hey, good morning, Fraley.
Hey, Fraley.
Yeah. So that, and again, it comes down to time. How much time do I have to go and learn the rules of Reddit? And
sure.
So
all these are additional part-time jobs. Oh, I saw that LJ said that our names are. I'm Dan Taylor today.
Oh well.
I'm Danlian. I keep seeing it as Danlian, like one word.
Dan Leon Taylor. Leon's my middle name. I figured that made me sound more like a writer.
Nice.
But yeah, we'll switch that around next time.
That's fine. I'm opening up credit cards right now under your name.
Oh. You can't ruin my credit any worse than it already is. Remember, I've been a self-publisher for 20 years. So, yeah. So
when is your next Fluff and Crunch? When are you going to come on here to do some more?
That's all very random. That's just I don't have a set schedule for that. That's just okay. Has the kid gone to bed? Have I caught up on my household chores?
Gotcha.
Sort of thing.
My streaming that is okay. That is, we've got Reddit, but the other main way I'm going to be promoting this is going to be here on Twitch, where I'll have my channel. I'll be streaming in the Dungeons and Dragons, what do you call it, arena compartment on Twitch, and I'll be creating all the artwork for the thing while we're live. So I'm hoping that's going to be interesting to watch. I've got a lot of art to create, so I'll be busy. I've
been toying with Incarnate, that map making software.
Okay.
Have you seen
like
that?
It?
I do, but it's so I was like working on what the land for this Western D&D thing I was telling you about. No, so I might fluff and crunch that tonight.
Sweet.
Hopefully, other people who know Incarnate can come on and tell me what I'm doing wrong and what I'm. Okay, Farley, you're east of Nashville. I am east of Nashville as well. I'm in Mount Juliet, so you need to come see the show August 23rd at Zany's in Nashville.
Yeah, comedians playing D&D live on stage. It is insanity. I love it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and one thing I've been working on this week is I put the call out for my other comedians for the streaming show, because that's going to be like an every other week Wednesday night type of thing, and I've been getting some good responses. I've got to go through all, because again, this is like a casting call, so I got to see what comedians will fit the best. I'm going to have two from. Okay, I know exactly. Well, I don't know exactly where you are, Fraley, but because I'm still new here in Nashville, but you're very close to me, and I'm broadcasting live from Mount Juliet.
All world.
Yeah, and so I've got to figure these out. Who can fit? Who does well? Whose schedule wise will work at? And I would love to do it weekly, but again, we're talking scheduling wise, and especially with comics, it's just too tough.
Right.
So we're gonna go. I think we're shooting for we're gonna do every other Wednesday, and if we do it every, 20.
The thought that this is a long campaign, or are these like a series of one shots?
Long campaign, and again, it all ties into the world that the other two are in, and something I'm planning with those live shows. I threw out the dates that I officially requested dates from the two comedy clubs I'm doing it in now, and they're not going to promise me anything, but I'm going to do special Halloween Undead shows in October.
That's great.
And then in November, it's kind of a crossover event, because I have 4 comics at each club, 4 in Nashville, 4 in Huntsville. I'm going to have 2 of the Huntsville comics come up and play with 2 in the Nashville club. And 2 of the Nashville comics go down to Huntsville and play there.
Will they be bringing their characters from the other worlds?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
So it all ties in, because both parties right now are on a quest for the same items. And Illuminated Art, I cannot agree with you. More video clips of the Catacombs and Comedian show would be brilliant, but I cannot find anybody capable to shoot video that looks of decent quality while I'm on stage. I mean, if I could be in 2 places at 2 times and shoot it myself with using my film major.
Yeah, the video does have kind of a it's basically on a pedestal of some kind, or it's like almost like a surveillance cam.
It's up on a balcony actually, to give it that old man Muppet type of.
Well, it's probably perfect for comedy, right? Where someone's on stage moving around, but
it's just so hard. I mean, I bought a video camera just for it, and I said, okay, I'm going to pay, or here's my buddy. Can you record the show? Yeah, sure. It's a video camera. How hard? It didn't come out. So the second show, in fact, this is footage. That's footage I paid somebody to shoot for me.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, well, he just set it on and went down and had free chicken fingers and stuff. So I can't, and I don't have the budget to pay for real
chicken fingers.
Well, no, chicken fingers are free. The club's not, but I don't have a budget to, I paid the guy $50 for an hour and a half work, and I just wanted a clean video.
Right.
And I don't have the budget to, get an actual film crew in there or video crew in there to do it. Someday, hopefully, it'd be great. So that's why, I'll see you there. I'll give you stickers and buttons. And in fact, we're gonna have T-shirts, Catacomb and Comedian T-shirts for sale at this show for the first time.
Hot damn!
So people actually request merch, so I aim to please.
That's great.
But yeah, so hopefully someday I'll figure out how I can shoot video there at the clubs and get it to work. But right now it's just you have to listen to the podcast if you want to see what's happening at the club shows. But with the streaming shows coming up, it'll be a lot easier. It'll be done like this. I'm practicing with Steve right now on how to stream shows. So
you have illustrations of the characters, right? Of the people.
Yeah.
So you ever think about paper doll type simple stuff? Like I know, like just this is what you want to get into animation, but where you have the audio and you just have like, Falbor comes on, 5 people come on, and then it's just as the voices, just as a 1 minute, your favorite 1 minute thing.
Okay, that's not a bad idea. I will send you all the resources and pictures, and you can put it together. And
yes, if you have a 1 minute clip and send me those pieces, I will do that. It will be very crude. It will be, we're talking South Park quality.
I love it. We'll figure out how.
I'll happily do that, Dan.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. But no, I would if I could get that kind of clip up every now and then off of a show, and you show me how you do it, and then I can do that as well. And
it'll beat spending $50 for someone to try to, eat chicken fingers on your dime.
Exactly. No, so that's a great idea. See, this is why we do Mazes and Muses every Sunday morning, to figure out this sort of stuff.
Well, it helps that you got Musgrave's beautiful artwork. If it were anybody else, to be like, oh, now you got to create artwork and you blah blah blah. But the artwork's already done.
Yeah, so. I got Musgrave doing the monsters. I got Coughlin doing the characters, and I've got you doing the animation. It's my army of Steves.
Animations might be too strong a word, but I'll definitely. Things will twitch.
What do they call those? Not like moving storyboards, but they call them schematics or
animatics.
Animatics, yeah.
Yeah, no, not that complicated. Not that complicated. I haven't figured that part out. I have this cover of my Intoximancy book, and there's a program called Wordle. It's an app on your phone. You can add like minor animation to a photograph. I did that. That was the extent of my animation. Okay, I would love to know. I would love to know how to do that stuff where they puppet the characters, but that's like. That'll take me a week to figure out, and I just don't have a week.
That's how you did that? Because I want to know what the stretch goal is to have that moving cover.
A lenticular?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's yeah. If we're talking Matt Colville numbers in order for me to have lenticular covers. Right now, the plan is to do the hardcovers and the zines, basically print on demand, like true zine tradition. I mean, if this thing could dare merit a real print run, then maybe we could talk about doing great stuff. But I think this is very bare bones. It's going to be, down and dirty, but it'll be great. It'll be great. It'll be great.
Looking forward to it. All right. Anything else we got to cover?
No. I'm not Dan Leon Taylor. My name is Steve Conley. I am the cartoonist of the Middle Age. If people want to check out my webcomic, it's totally free to read online. I see we have like 6-ish people maybe in the chat, which is in the viewers. Thank you for being here.
Oh, so appreciative. Thanks for coming to watch Steve.
Both Steves, the real Steve and the fake Steve. Did I point the right way?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm pointing the right way.
You're pointing the right way.
But thank you for being here, and check out my Kickstarter, which launches Wednesday, probably noon East Coast time. It's called Intoximancy, and you can find it at steveconley.com/Intoximancy.
The links to both of our Kickstarters have been popping up frequently in the chat, so just use any of those links to go check it out, as well as our Twitter accounts. You can find us there. I am not the Steve Conley, as it says here. I am Dan Leon Taylor. God, we even tried to get on early to make sure everything was running right.
The mirror universe.
Yeah. Instead of just a goatee, the evil Steve Conley has a full pirate beard. So anyway, check out both our Kickstarters. Steve's will go live on Wednesdays. Mine's currently available. And as always, please check out catacombsandcomedians.com, where you can find everything about the little D&D live action actual play show that I do with stand-up comics. And make sure you check out Steve's The Middle Age webcomic, wherever great webcomics are available. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And we'll be here next week to talk about, Steve will drag me out of bed to talk about more D&D. We'll be able to, I'm sure, announce that Steve's Kickstarter has been fulfilled already. I will still be. I'd see. I'm at 78% now. It's probably at 79% or so.
Well, and we have a guest coming up in 2 weeks.
I got to finalize the date, but yeah, we're going to be talking to Matt Forbit pretty soon. He's had his fingers in everything role playing game across almost every major publisher, and the latest thing he's been doing was the Marvel multiverse role playing game.
Wow.
And his own shotguns and sorceries, which is exactly what it sounds like, Dungeons and Dragons with shotguns and sorcery. So we'll be talking to him soonish, if not next week, maybe in 2 weeks. I think I will have Spelljammer in hand this Tuesday, so I want to talk to Steve about what's in Spelljammer.
That's great. And I also want to invite everyone to go back to our last week's episode. You can catch it here on Twitch still, and also it's on our YouTube channel. We talked with DC Bradshaw, and that was a great conversation. So check out that one.
We talked about his his version of Dungeons and Dragons for littler kids called Little But Fierce.
Yeah, that was great.
5th edition rules for all ages. So definitely check that out. And until next Sunday morning, may you all make all of your saving throws.